salute. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people of the struggle. Salute, salute, salute. What's good, what's good, what's good? As you come on into class, please know that this is a safe space. This is a space for learning, a space for intelligence, a safe space for dialogue, to learn, to love, to live, and to question, all on our path towards liberation. So as you come on into class, let your classmates know that you are here. Yes, share, share, share. Let them know that they are here. Newark, New Jersey in the spotty spot. DC, Chocolate City in the spotty spot. Salute, salute. What's going on? And please know that if you are in crisis, or in need of anger management, in need of domestic violence counseling, or if somebody that you love may be in that situation, reach out for an assessment. This is something that I do daily. This is the work that we speak so much about. I see V is in the building, Oak Town. What's up, Oak Town 357? You got on your biker shorts, V? I know you do, because I know you rep that Oakland. Yeah, you got on them biker shorts. Let me find out you can ready to do the running man in class. Memphis, what up, Jay? Peace and power, peace and power. Salute to you all. And as my classroom assistants come up in the building, please put that green screen link up. Yes, put it up. Yes, and all green screens are appreciated. Remember, we're not getting these corporations paid. Super chats are much appreciated, but we know where those are going. All right? We know where those is going. Desmond, salute, salute. What's going on? We're going to get right into it. We have to get right into it because this is something I kept speaking on time after time, class after class, people not acknowledging the anger issues we have amongst ourselves as people, the steadily increasing percentage number of black women assaulted nationwide, globally even. We know the numbers is crazy. We're witnessing it. I speak on it almost every class. It is part of the imbalance and destruction of our people not being able to communicate with each other, highly triggered, and taking situations way too far. Most of the time because people do not understand themselves and are just living life, not of life, but just living, no purpose, no intent. And all too often, this is the end result. Now, I want to start with the BET Awards and the assault that many of us witnessed last night. Okay? Trust and believe it was an assault. Now, for some of you who know, and some of them who you don't know who any of the people are, right? City Girl JT, Jadavia Johnson, no relation at all. You know what? Hold on. Let me not be too quick on that. Let me not be too quick on that. Because I don't know any Johnsons in our family. So I don't know. I gotta be mindful about the Johnsons. Yeah, because if you've been watching me, you have heard me speak of family and especially my father's side. All of my cousins from Sparta, Georgia, that's the Watkins side of the family. That is my father's mother, my maternal grandmother, my father. That is her line, right? The Watkins, the most important and prestigious Reverend Henry James Watkins, my great-grandfather who established the church in Harlem, right there on 144th and 7th, right over there. That's the Watkins side. Now the Johnsons, we don't know the Johnsons. My father's father passed when he was 3 years old at a family function. So I don't know any of the Johnsons that was in Harlem at that time. We don't know that side of the family. My grandmother never dealt with the Johnsons after that unfortunate event. So, though I may say she ain't family, I don't know. I might have to go see Skip Gates and get the Johnson line and see who is fam and who not. But right now, with the shit she pulled, she ain't no family of mine. Guarantee you that. Nope. Let me take the guarantee back one more time, because we just don't know nowadays. Okay? Shit, I might be some kin to Bumpy. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Anyway, JT City Girl is in I guess a relationship, if we shall label it that, with the rapper Lil Uzi Vert. Both very colorful individuals, even for this era in commercial rap. Very colorful, very questionable, not someone or a couple that people of the generations prior to them would really be engaged with. But we do know them. I know them, and you know, it is what it is. So let's see. We know that this city girl JT got a fed bit in her. We know that. No matter how small, she got a fed bit in her. We hear her language. We hear how she speaks. We've seen her arrest photos throughout the years. We've seen pics of her up in the Hooskow on visits. We've seen that. So we know exactly what type of time she on. We hear it in her music. And we know about Lil Uzi Vert. We've seen many videos. We've seen many clothing statements. We've seen him do a lot of little things in the industry, especially over the past couple of years. He's one of the standout stars of this generation. So they go to the BET Awards. Don't know if it's lovey-dovey. Don't know if they arrived together. I didn't see it. I don't know. I didn't go out there. However, we know they were together. Now, it gets funny when we're speaking on what led up to the viral moment that we are now aware of. A discrepancy, an argument, a disagreement between the two was witnessed by a lot of people, and what we seen was a very irate woman jump up out of the seat, throw what we now know as her phone, boom, threw it, hit him, threw it, assaulted him right there in the seat, right there in a crowded auditorium, right there, couple of rows from the front. Prime time. This is the two of the biggest in the game right now. Thousands of people in there, millions of people watching. An assault. Assaulted him, called him out of his name, made an attempt to dehumanize him, calling him goofy, calling him a beat, you know, all type of things. For what? Various different accounts. Some say he was hollering at another female MC. Did I say that? Female rapper, Ice Spice. There's other reports saying that he wasn't paying attention and someone sat in her seat, so she lost her seat, which sounds very far-fetched to me, knowing that they have assigned seating in that spot, especially when you're that close to the stage. But for whatever reason, we witnessed an assault. Some people commend him for how he handled it. Other people have been coming down on him for his lack of a response. But I haven't heard many call for her arrest. Now, should have this been he throwing a phone and assaulting her, he would have been arrested. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. He would have been arrested. No one in this class, in this chat, could even fix their mouth to disagree with that. If Lil Uzi Vert would have hit JT with a phone in front of all those people, he would have walked up out of there in handcuffs. Now, he sat there and he held it. For whatever reason. However, he was able to maintain his composure. Whatever toxic argument was going down, he held his he held his composure. Some commend him for that. Others who are ignorant have made attempts to disrespect him and do the same thing that she did to him. Call him a bitch ass. Call him goofy. Make a whole bunch of comments about, you know, the things, the antics that he's been doing over the years, the female clothes, the wow implantation in his head, the tats, all that. But all that doesn't matter when it comes to this specific event. This incident right here, he was a victim. He was victimized on TV. Now, should she have been arrested? Yes. Should she still be arrested? Most definitely. But LA County, we know how they get down when it comes to these awards. And to keep it a buck, 100 straight all the way through, this could be capped. This could be a staged event. We know that almost every award show for the last few years, there's been something major that's went down, especially in LA. New York City, not happening. Not happening. Boys in Blue would have put her in cuffs so quick. Yeah. But LA, we already know. This goes back to 2000, the DJ Quick at the Source Awards in Pasadena. And that ruckus. 2004, Young Buck. Yeah. Young Buck. Right? We remember that? Young Buck banged out a fan. Right? After the fan supposedly snuffed Dr. Dre while asking for an autograph, played a dummy role. Yo, let me get an autograph. Dre signed an autograph, money snuffed him. Boop! Yeah, remember? Young Buck gave it to him. Hey, oh, remember? Yeah, we remember that. 2012, Rick Ross and Jeezy. Got the cuffing and fisting and cuffing and fisting. Go out into the outside and dudes start clapping. Bah, 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 bah. Yeah. And gunplay, who we just spoke about the other day. Plucked out by G-Unit. All this weirdo stuff at these award shows, which could be ritualistic. They could be rituals for the spooky. They could be initiation, instigations. And, a path to the Gripper Gate Club. Could be a lot of weirdo stuff. But right now, we're looking at what she did. And up until this point, I'm not understanding why there's no legal action that has been taken so far. I don't get it. But this is where we're at right now, and it's going to lead into the second event because there has been so much venom, emasculation, policies, and behaviors, that target the mentality of all when it comes to dealing with black men. And we have raised a generation of effeminate black men who don't know how to handle themselves because they're foreign to these incidents. It doesn't happen a lot. And when something you're not conditioned or you haven't witnessed going through, your response is late, is delayed. So in this new era, right? This era where Kevin Samuels, may he rest wherever he at, galvanized and charged up a whole bunch of black men to be ultra aggressive and stand firm and proud and tall on some bullshit narratives, you get this weird space that we in. Little fudgy space where men really are trying to find a way to move in this without being victims or without being villains. It get crazy. So we got a generation of young dudes who really don't know how to deal with confrontation. And definitely don't know how to deal with their own aggression and their own anger responses. So he did good. I don't know if he was high on perk or drunk off Henny or whatever he into, but he did very good in not retaliating and not responding like the average knucklehead. You understand? But she was out of pocket. And because that's her belief system that she can do that and get away with it, and no legal action has been taken from the Los Angeles DA, wherever the hell they was at, makes me think it was capped, because at any other event where anybody got out of line, yo, you was scooped up. What happened here? What happened here? We watch him get assaulted and it's just okay. Again, because he's a rapper, right? We told you rapper is the new N-word. So because he's a rapper, because he's not a gangster rapper, but he's perceived, right, because of his actions and behavior as some type of, nerdish clown, right, who is straddling the fence. We don't know if you rainbow or not, and you find fun in that, right? And playing that little game, right? The ambidextrous and all. Now everybody want to shrug their shoulders, but this man was assaulted. This young man was assaulted, and it goes on in our communities on a regular basis. Women have been conditioned to believe that it's okay to put their hands on a man. And you're going to get in trouble with it. You're going to get in trouble with it. Right? Because there's always a response, and it sometimes is not automatic. Right? You going to use that? Yeah, use that. I don't want to go to the other word. So let's just say ambidextrous instead of, the other word. Right? Androgynous and all. Nah, we don't want you ambidextrous. We go that way with it. But again, there's been an attitude of where women believe it's okay. And we've been witnessing it more and more. The backlash has been off the chain. Okay? Because we're out of balance. We're out of alignment. Why? Because we're looking at the value system of our oppressors. And when you do that, you're always going to be off balance and respond to each other in an ill way. In an ill way. Okay? But we'll see what happens with that particular incident. If she don't get arrested, it was staged. That's the only thing I can see. Other than that, she should be in cuffs right now. We're almost 24 hours in, right? And trust, he don't have to press charges for them to investigate a crime. He don't. Based on what everybody witnessed, that's all they need. To at least go in there and arrest and charge and start an investigation. Huh? No, let's not be too quick. Let's not be too quick, huh? Nah, Kim, don't be too quick. They do a lot for the clout. No, we talking about a dangerous felon here. She came from the federal penitentiary. She's a dangerous felon. Yeah. You hear what she's saying on music? Yeah, she about that action. Dangerous felon? Well, that's true too, Jewels. That's true too. They didn't lock him up, but they did ask. They went and asked Chris Rock. And he said no. So right then and there, that immediately stops everything. We don't know what happened with Uzi. We don't know if they approached him. We don't know if he took that. Because look, he sat back down. We don't even know if, because they think the BET Awards is nigga shit. So they ain't, But the Oscars, they went and asked him. Salute. Much appreciated for the green screen. Huh? Much appreciated. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, no, they went and asked Chris Rock. Let's not forget. And Chris was like, no. No. You're wasting your time. That was that Brooklyn that came out of him. He said, nah, no, not doing it. So that was it right then and there. You know how they do rap community. You know how they do them. They don't have no power. Come on, Will Smith is big time gripper gate. Chris Rock said, nah, I'm not doing that. I still don't even understand what went down right now. And we saluted him for that. Nah, this little ashy girl, she ain't got no pull like that. We gonna see how this pan out. But to no avail, if they're in a relationship, that is an act of domestic violence. That is an act of intimate partner relationship violence. That's what that is. That's what that is. Because what did she expect from that? And since we're dealing with it from a point of education and a point of knowing and seeking solution and dealing with it very intelligently, not just talking off the cuff, we dealing with what it is. It was domestic violence incident in public. So we don't know how she handles him in private. We don't know that. Me being a professional in this, I'm seeing that right there, clear case that he's being abused. Clear case. Excuse me. Clear case. Because whatever the discrepancy was, and I want y'all all to listen, because whatever the discrepancy was, she made an attempt to physically control him, to physically beat him down, to submit to whatever her wishes was. That's physical violence. That's part of the power and control cycle of domestic violence. Okay? That wasn't even using intimidation because he was out in public. It was an event watched by millions of people globally. So you embarrassed him, humiliated him, and harmed him physically. So whatever you wanted him to do, that is what you did right there. That's one of the key elements of domestic violence. Clear cut. Clear cut. This is the line of work. This is the field of work I'm in. So you was verbally abusive and physically abusive. Terrence Young, salute. Thank you for the green screen. Yes, I'm holding it down. We having a lesson. We building today. So y'all know what domestic violence look like so you can see if your family members or friends or associates may be going through it. And you can ask them, is everything okay? There are some key components: using intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation, minimizing, denying, and blaming, using children, using male privilege or female privilege, right? Using economic abuse, using coercion and threats. She went right there to intimidation, right? Making him afraid by using looks, actions, gestures, smashing things, destroying his property, abusing pets, displaying weapons. That's part of power and control. Mr. Wilson, salute. Much appreciated for the green screen. That's it. This is listen, I've been doing this class for 4 or 5 years. I'm just hipping y'all to it. This is what it is. So when you come for the assessment, I can already read if you're being abused or not. Already. That's it. She hit him with an object in public in order to get him to do what she felt she wanted him to do after the fact, because whatever happened, it transpired. So now, because she's a felon, a dangerous felon from the federal system and from the hoods of Miami, because she's so dangerous and probably haven't had an anger management class, when she was triggered, she lashed out violently. Now, some may chuckle and may laugh because you see him training. You see he knows how to throw his hands, little something, and he know how to throw his kicks. You know that, right? Salute, salute. Liberation Clothing, much appreciated. Nice build. I definitely learned something tonight already. You're going to learn a lot more because we getting ready to get in it. I'm telling you what it is. It's called a power and control wheel. And that is what happens in these situations. She tried to control him and his space using force and violence and setting a tone that if he ever thinks to look at somebody or talk to somebody, he's scared, he's intimidated, he's in fear that she's going to do that. That's abuse. That's abuse. A lot of men don't want to recognize that. But you have a lot of men who are in these relationships that are being abused. Because some women only know how to communicate loudly, yelling, hitting, because that's what they were raised in and that's how they were taught to communicate. Okay? A lot of men are going through it. You will be surprised. You will be surprised. Bliz, salute to you, King. But why is it so hard for people to leave these toxic situations? Because of the fear. Some people are trapped, and some people don't realize, beautiful and blessed TV, that they're in this toxic situation because they have witnessed it through generations and believe that it is what it is. You even have people, mothers and grandmothers, tell their daughters, that's just how he is, girl. Don't get him upset. He's a man. He's supposed to do things like that. They are raised up in it. So now we have a situation where we have a lot of women or a lot of new age couples that teach their boys, don't hit a woman no matter what. But yet they're getting beat in school, in a house, in society. It starts young. You keep telling little boys, don't hit her, she's a girl, don't hit her, she's a girl. And you got these girls that's being raised and they grown up MMA fighters, identifying and all type of stuff, just ratchet and toxic, and everything out of their mouth is fire and flames. So the little young dudes don't know how to respond. And when they get pushed to the brink, that's why we seeing these young dudes with all this murder-suicide. Because they're going to the ultimate level. They haven't been taught. The communication isn't there. People don't understand their emotional and mental triggers. We just lucky that we witnessed him conduct himself in a manner that allowed him to get up out of there safely. Because again, he's or she's not the only one that he would have to contend with should he laid hands on her. You understand? She didn't care. This is why she need that little check, that reality check to show her exactly what you've done. Yeah. Yeah. But that's part of it. That's part of it. People don't understand that. They don't understand that. So now, bear with me, because that is just one lane. That is just one lane for this young person, these young people that we are watching. Now let's move to Chicago. Okay? Carlishia Hood. 35 years old. 35 years old. We've seen the video with her 14-year-old son. 14-year-old son. Out and about, whatever reason, they stopped to get something to eat. Or they might have left their crib to get something to eat. From what we saw and from initial reports, it was just an argument. It was just a beef going on. It's a regular beef. And from what was initially reported without the video, that this woman told her son, no, initially they said they went back to the whip. Told her son, get the hammer, come up in the spot, and hit this man. Right? Hit him. And he was 32 years old. Right? 32 years old. That was the initial reports. They didn't give the whole story. And I spoke on it quickly. I was like, yo, what kind of moms is that? What kind of moms is that? But what happens? Like we say, Big Brother's always watching. And then we start to see the tapes. Excuse me, and we see the tape, we see the videos, because the Cook County DA said, yo, we're not prosecuting, right? Let me see. Let's see what we said. They was accused last week of first-degree murder following an altercation inside of a fast food restaurant. Based upon our continued review and in light of emerging evidence today, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office has moved to dismiss the charges against Carlishia Hood and her 14-year-old son. Based upon the facts, evidence, and the law, we are unable to meet our burden of proof in the prosecution of these cases. Right? The decision came after cell phone video emerged over the weekend, providing a fuller picture. Now, even in that fuller picture, we still don't know what was the initial triggering war of words. Some are saying, yo, she was talking about she was waiting online, she was there. Others were saying that she was beefing with the people in the back, right? Because the order was messed up. Whatever it was, we like this. From the point at which we see them two, I'm looking at her posture. I'm seeing that she really didn't want it. I'm looking at the response. I've been in this a long time. And I'm looking at him, agitated, right? Hyped. And I'm looking at him. And I'm watching him. But again, if we would have had the video first, then we would have had a better point of which to analyze it. A lot of people had judgment from last week. We was like, yo, we don't know what took place. But now, right, that we see it and we heard them, takes on a whole different layer. Because what I tell people, especially men, that we have such a presence. We're bigger. We're louder. We're stronger. We have such a presence that when we speak to children, when we speak to women, when we speak to younger teens, We have to be mindful of that fear causes them to respond and react. Just like when you scare an animal, they're going to brace up and bark. They're going to do what their body is telling them to do to make an attempt to back you up. So even if a woman is yelling and bracing up, and she could be 5'2", she's going to respond in a manner which that it appears that she's ready to take you. Okay? So I can see that in her body language. I see that. I see his body language. And when we do the research on him, dude is known to be light with his hands with women. Not saying that he's not light with his hands when it comes to men. He could be all the way off the hook. All the way. But he had a history of it. We don't know if she know that. We know that she's a mother. She's with her child. And she's going to wolf back. And her wolfing wasn't even that hard. But we seen him lining up from the rip. How do they de-escalate that situation? Like many people in our communities, they don't know how to do it. They need help. Because that is a consistent thing. Our people at the highest levels don't know how to speak to each other. Because we don't own ourselves. We're always managed, supervised, owned, or in partnership with the Euros. So it teaches us to have animosity against each other. Always making an attempt to outdo each other. So whether you are in corporate America or you in the hood, we have a terrible way of communicating with each other. Because what? Because we're sad, because we're fearful, and when we get triggered, we just lash out. That's it. That's the common language. But his was extra because he said it. Kept saying, get your food and leave. Making an attempt to dehumanize her and to belittle her in front of her audience and in front of her child. Could she have walked away? If she knew how to. She could have been paralyzed with fear, fearing that if she turned her back, he was going to snuff her, which he did. He kept telling her, take your food, get your food. I didn't see anybody passing her any food. I never seen anyone pass her food. So, how can she get her food and leave? And then he does the ultimate. He winds up. He winds up and hits her. Now, because he didn't knock her out like he said he would, he was embarrassed and angry, so he hit her again, hard. Still didn't knock her out and went to strike again. Now, I don't want to leave out in between that. Before he even did that, she gave her son directions. Go to the car. Salute, Ronald, Zion. Definitely lack conflict resolution skills, but before the conflict resolution skills, we don't have good communication skills. We don't know inside ourselves. Before you even get into conflict with anybody else, you're in conflict with yourself. That's another bill. But let's continue. This dude heard that and said, what? Again, instead of being the dude, being the man, We could only assume that he's in the street. But how he's carrying himself, how he look, how he's posturing, and what he's saying. You see an irate woman. But because of this new way of thinking, because of social media, because of the way men have been treated, like I keep telling y'all, you following these Euros, you putting yourself in the space of these Euros, and you're not doing anything as a black man to own anything, to create anyone, to nurture anyone, to get people to give you that type of response back. You're running around angry and mad at the world. And our women are getting beat down, stabbed, shot, pushed in front of trains, all type of wildness. Murder suicides is up. We seeing them kill kids and themselves and their girls. Seeing them kill their girls, kids that ain't even theirs. We watching all this because they're not being treated for the mental imbalances. So now, okay, he hooks off. Shorty already went to the whip. Now, we don't know the relationship between the mother and son. We don't know the conversations that they had. We do know, though, I know as being a young man, you're not doing nothing to my mama. And physically, I can't beat you. If I have access to anything, you're going to feel it. And as women, I'm telling y'all right now, that is how you raise your sons. Because if the world is not going to provide police for you, if you don't have brothers and fathers that are going to be police and protectors for you, that little man that you birthed should be your protector. And he protected his mama from somebody who was hitting her as if he wanted to take her out of here. Now, Shorty put that work in. Put it in. Didn't hesitate. Put it in. Protecting my mother. No. There's no responsibility on the child at all. In the continent, they have 12-year-olds cutting people's feet off. These are not children. If he was 14 and he was banging, and he came up in your house on some other type of time, on some home invasion time, what kind of responsibility is that? These gang leaders are recruiting dudes 10, 11, 12 to bang, to cause mischief and mayhem in the streets. And they don't love these little dudes. As a mother who birthed him and nurtured him, you better tell him how to protect himself and you. That is the consciousness that we're supposed to be on. Somebody need to protect somebody. So he got that work in. We don't know what the conversation was. We don't know what his charging order was. All we heard was go to the car. Now we don't know if he knew that. We don't know if that was a conversation piece. We don't know if he was socialized like that through his environment. But we know ain't nobody else get hit. We know that. So we know he was responsible enough not to shoot up the whole joint. We know that. We know he hit who he wanted to hit to protect his mama. He was responsible enough to do that. We got cops letting go 20, 30, 40 rounds and hitting everybody. We got dudes who claim they about that action and got mad teardrops and little work under the belt and can't shoot straight and hit everybody. Okay? At any given point as a man, if he didn't elevate that to striking her, he may still be here. Not victim shaming at all. But if he had the gumption, if he had less of an ego to not strike that woman, he might be here. I keep telling y'all, and I've said it over and over and over and over again. You, I, we, the whitey, don't have a monopoly on violence. If you can give it, then you can get it. And at any given point, you decide to go there, you got to be ready for it to come back. Mike Tyson was the baddest man alive. Got plucked out several times. United States of America, this corporation, done put in massive work for years. Got touched. Got touched 9/11 and got touched in Vietnam. Nobody has a monopoly on violence. You just don't. So the consequences of your actions, because you've been triggered angrily, if you don't know how to communicate and de-escalate yourself, you may not win that. You're not going to win them all. You're just not. You're just not. Because you're so busy in his mind, in that rage, to look at her and say, this is a woman. How dare she? For whatever his belief system is, whether he believes a woman is less than him, whether he believed he was a strong, big man, whether he thought she was disrespecting him, whatever his belief system was, he chose to hit her more than once. He hit her like he was hitting this guy punching bag at the carnival. Yeah. Didn't think about the son. For whatever reason. If you in the shine, you know these young men put in work. We don't know that? So again, this is what happened. It happened in New York. Not to that degree. We seen the dude run up in there and think he was going to harm the bodega man. Went in there over the counter on Poppy, grabbed Poppy up. Poppy poked him. Dude lost his life right then and there. Right then and there. So again, because we are in these situations where people are not knowing how to communicate body language, right? Non-verbal communication, verbal communication. Knowing when you're triggered yourself and say, oh man, hold up. That didn't sit right with me. I'm mad. Let me take a breath. I keep telling you, if you in 1, 2, and 3 seconds can step back, you can de-escalate yourself anyway. That's it. Hold on, let me see that. Hold on, who was that? J44? If he had kids to go home to, He would have thought about that the minute he left his home. Every day I leave my home, I know what I'm leaving, and I know what I'm supposed to be coming back to. I make sure I got 10 fingers and 10 toes going out. I got 10 fingers and 10 toes coming back in. Nowhere in my plan am I saying, yo, I'm going to go to the store, but before I go to the store, I'm going to get some gas, and at the gas station, I'm going to get the fisticuffing some dude for ice grilling me. That ain't in my plan. My plan is to go to the store, get gas, come back. That's in my plan. Nothing is disrupting that plan. Not who looked at me stupid. Not no cop who looked at me up and down. None of that. None of that. So if you thought you got kids to go home to, then you conduct yourself in the street like you got kids to go home to. But everybody's on this type of time where everybody's up, everybody's lit, everybody's about that action. Okay, so deal with that action. That's the consequences of that action. Especially when there's no intent behind it that's positive. If you got that much smoke for black women, then you should have that much smoke for the oppressors that made you that angry. If you got that much smoke for black children, you should have that much more smoke for this system. But you don't have smoke for that. You calm yourself down real quick when Whitey come through. They snap to attention when they hear sirens and all that. They calm down real quick. Nah, nigga, I thought you was out of control. I thought you was so mad that you had to punch a woman. When Master come through, they straighten up. I've seen it in the street. I've seen it behind the wall. I've seen it everywhere. So don't tell me you can't calm down and get your thoughts right. You choose not to do it. So he chose not to make it home to his seeds. That's just what it is. Now you can feel any kind of ways you want to feel about it. That's the truth. The truth of the matter is his decision cost him his life. Because we're not here by ourselves. We don't exist in this world by ourselves. There are billions of people out here, millions of energies. We're not alone. We're not. So your anger, right? In that, your anger in that, right? Is a response. Nah, Jay, I got you. That's for the other people. I got you, Jay. I got you. I know where you're going with it. Trust me, man. We in class. I know where you're going with it. Everything is not literally for everybody. Because there are other comments that I can't respond to in the quickness. I got you. I know where you're going with that. Exactly, big soul. Consequences. Consequences. First rule of anger management, man. Consequences for every explosion. Every time you're triggered and you get out there and you explode, there are consequences that you cannot see. I've seen people lose their life arguing with police when all they had to do, and it was simple, and slide, and escalated to a degree of which they lost their life. I've seen it behind the walls. I've seen COs get cut, get stabbed, and hurt because all they had to do was leave somebody alone. But their belief system had their ego amped up. So they ripped the man's pictures of his wife, stepped on his commissary. Believing that they were in charge. And what did that triggered that individual to a point of which he didn't care. And listen, anybody can get it at any given time, especially when it's not purposeful. You have no intent, and your end result is not one of revolutionary struggle. It is not one for the betterment of all. This is a selfish act. He wanted to punch this woman in her face, so he can feel good. She wasn't threatening. She wasn't no threat. This is where we're at with it right now. How do you respond when you are triggered? What is your anger response to being triggered? Because your triggers come from some deep-rooted shit. Either you're scared, people got to recognize that. That's one of the key emotions before you are angry. Either you're scared, you're fearful, you're anxious, or you're sad, depressed. And if you combine it with the poor foods we eat, with the synthetic liquor, with the created chemical drugs and all this other garbage we going through, you're easily angrily triggered. Easily. But there's consequences because you don't own shit. We don't protect each other. We're not organized. We're not a community. So all these individuals that's running around by themselves, getting into conflict and all that, bow. And life is fragile. Life is fragile. I don't care how much weight you lift, how in shape you are. I've never seen nobody take a shot from something nice and heavy in the right spot. Big men go down. That 4-pounder drop you. I don't care if you pushing 500 up off your chest. That 4-pounder put butter right through your goddamn clavicle. Blow your head off. You ain't tough like that. And it don't take nothing but a 13-year-old, shit, 9-year-old to squeeze the trigger. So you need to learn how to respond to anger. You need to learn your triggers. You need to book an assessment so you can see when others are triggered and you can move out the way. Because I don't have to fight you. I don't have to even acknowledge you. I don't have to acknowledge the crazy. I don't have to witness nothing. My job, my mission, my task is to get home safely because somebody in that house loves me. Somebody at work cares for me. There's a lot of people that don't have nobody checking for them nowhere and they ready to go off at any given time. So if you really think somebody loves you, if you really truly love somebody, you mind your damn business. You get to handle your business and you go home. Because even in that, there's expectations that anything can happen at any given time. But you can increase the percentage of you being safe if you make it to where you got to go and get the hell back. If you pull up out of dangerous situations, such as gang life, such as criminal lifestyle, such as, being a custody, you increase your survival rate. But again, we've been taught not to want to be safe, not to increase our survival rate because we don't own ourselves. So once they monetized our death, once they monetized our transitioning, they all in. Oh, they don't care about themselves. Oh, we get money off of that? Decent. That's a win-win for us. So now what do? See, the real conscious and woke and aware people teach that. We educate that. That's what we do. We educate that. And that is what's in the bills. That's what's in the dialogue. That's what happened when you come here. There's an educational piece to pull you up out of that funky way of thinking, where you really start to love yourself. You really move with purpose and intent. This way, if you have to get busy, you come out victorious because you're in your purpose. Because we all have the ability and the possibility to be greater every day. You can be greater. You have a potential to be greater every hour that passes, every minute, every day. You can increase your purpose. You can exaggerate your potential. And if anybody makes an attempt to diminish your potential to be greater, then you have the universal right to do what you got to do. But you got to be living in your purpose, because when you in it, most of that don't come your way. And again, looked like to me he was making an attempt to brutalize this woman, to, in the very least, humiliate her, and whatever her purpose was, whatever her potential could have been, whatever the potential of that boy, because you was trying to take his mama from him. Nah, I have a potential right now to keep my mama in my life. You disturbed that young man's potential. And the universe saw that they was justified in it. I'm saying, since when they drop charges? They don't do that. They don't care about black folk. That's what y'all say, right? Black folk get indicted for anything and anything. What happened? They dropped all charges. Some entity or energy thought they was right and exact for that. So I'm just saying, in these two situations, people are not communicating. People have this ego. This chick JT, for some reason, thought that because they were in a relationship, she owned that man. Don't own him, mama. For whatever reason, this man thought he owned that space in the goddamn chicken spot. And he thought that he owned how that woman was supposed to respond to him or perceive him. She don't look at you as no tough guy. She don't know you. So she doesn't have to speak to you in the manner which you demand. So now you upset. Why am I knock you out? What? Okay. No doubt. You official. You did what you said you was going to do. You was going to put her. You was going to hit her. And you got left. See, you didn't see that part. Nobody sees that part. You don't see that part. I live that part. I know that part very well. I know how fragile it is. So by the time it makes, for the time it takes me to make a decision, like a computer, I analyze everything, all possibilities. And that's what it taught me how to cool my heels. Like, because you're not going to always keep winning in this. Soon that same violence that you are exercising, that you are initiating, is going to be met. What is your purpose? So again, if you got kids, be smart about it, man. And I'm telling you, women, raise your sons. they better protect you against any and everything. Any and everything. Put their ass in martial arts and Muay Thai, knife school, everything. That's what you do. Stop sissifying them. Stop growing them up to be abusers. Because if they got that nurturing, if they got that education where they supposed to love and protect on black women, do you know what's the next levels? The next levels is loving and protecting our people. That's the next level. When young men know how to walk upright in the house, speak upright in the house, learn to really love and nurture their mother, their sisters, their aunties. That's when they learn how to keep things spotless, clean. That's when they learn how to cook. That's when they learn how to manage. That's how they learn how to speak. When they learn to love the women in their family, they learn to love the women in their community, and no bullshit could come in there. No drugs could come in the community. No bullshit landlords could come in the community. No Asians, no Arabs, no nothing could come in the community to harm them because you're teaching them first. So I'm glad that Shorty did what he had to do. Because that 14, shit, I was already doing the same. So thank you all for coming through. Remember, don't believe in me, believe in my belief in you. Believe in my belief in you. For all of the green screens, much appreciated. We have a nation to build. For all of the super chats, remember, you too take a good chunk of that. And it is appreciated, but do know, green screens. And if you need an assessment, please reach out via DM on Instagram, Twitter, Messenger. Get an assessment. Learn who you are inside. Learn how you've been traumatized and what may be triggering you, so you can learn how to de-stress, so you can learn how to be a more effective soldier. Come on now. It ain't about cooling you down and making you somebody who's not gonna, no. That's not what anger management's about. It's not about getting rid of anger, because you can't get rid of it. It's a natural emotion, but you have to control it. You have to know when you're triggered. You have to know your responses, because sometimes that rage and anger is gonna be needed, man. We dealing with a whole lot. Shit, your enemy does. Your enemies is chopping people up with a smile. Not mad at all. He write policies that's going to starve you, that's going to miseducate you, that's going to get you kicked out of your house with a smile. He ain't angry at all, and he's sending you to your death. So you need to learn how to manage yourself so you can think properly and counter the strategies. So again, this is a class. This is where you come to get it. It ain't about idle chit chat and bullshit. This is the education. Okay? Salute. Peace and power.